Hey, I didn't see you. Take a seat. Yeah, right there, right there. Oh, this? Oh, no, it's not a toy. It's a posable model. Anyways, I'm glad you're here. I've been thinking a lot about Fortnite lately. Sit down. Sit down, please sit down. As I was saying, I've been thinking a lot about Fortnite lately and its history of just insane success, not only as a popular video game, but also as a truly explosive cultural phenomenon. From the dances, to the $1 million streamers, to the merch, it's not every day that a game comes along and dominates culture, absolutely fucks up a generation of kids, and retains such a shocking level of significance to this day. When we compare Fortnite to some of the other big titles of the last half decade, it becomes apparent that going viral isn't necessarily the hard part for a video game, it's staying relevant afterwards. Which brings us to the main question I sought out for this video. What has Fortnite done so well to keep its current level of success? Well, other than, what makes it so eternal when compared to these other games? How is it such an everlasting font of slurp juice? Or more aptly, what's Epic Games' secret to keeping Fortnite relevant? To answer that question, we need to go back to the year before the world ended, 2011. At the 2011 Spike Game Awards, the Spike Game Awards, yeah. At the 2011 Spike Game Awards, Epic would reveal an early tech demo for a new title they had been silently working on. See, up until this point, Epic was really known for two things: making one of the best arena shooters of all time, and making a very successful game about big, muscly men killing bigger, even musclier aliens. So their track record was pretty solid, and to hear that they had a new IP cooking was exciting for us gamers. This IP was of course Fortnite. At first glance you'll see that the game looked, well, a little different. These differences were much more than being just skin deep though. This game was entirely different conceptually from the Fortnite that we have today. It was a building, crafting, survival horror Fortnite. The basic premise was that you would collect resources, build bases, and defend your structures from hordes of zombies. It was a slow, PvE, resource collecting, survival focused experience. As some of you probably already know, this sounds sort of like what would become Fortnite Save the World Edition, and we'll get there, so don't worry.
Oh, I am a soldier. That's right, I got guns and bullets. Yeah, good to fight. Booyah!
But this original version was tonally much different. The game overall was much edgier than what we would eventually get. This clip here showcases the vibe the best. The music, the enemies, the general atmosphere, it feels more like a Walking Dead simulator or something. It was not like this game. Not like this game with the goofy llamas and the flossing dance. Not like this game that many young boys had their first puberty moment to. But I mean, who can blame them? The early 2010s, when Fortnite was first revealed, were during what I call the great survival crafting games boom. See, there was this niche block building game that came out, but you probably never heard of it, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Just know that it marked the beginning of an entire genre for video games. DayZ, Rust, The Forest, Don't Starve, 7 Days to Die, Ark, a million others. Survival and or building were hot and everywhere in the industry. None of these were exactly like what early Fortnite was going for, except maybe that one?
What the fuck is that?
We don't talk about that one. But there were similar themes that could be found throughout them all.
One idea that we wanted to basically do like a building game. So we looked at a bunch of games for inspiration. We loved Terraria, we loved Minecraft.
Now, Fortnite's earliest tech demo was in 2011. Its first early access release wouldn't be until almost 6 years later in 2017. By this time, the survival game craze had died down pretty substantially, and for good reason too. The market just had too many absolutely fantastic survival games for gamers to choose from. And I'm kidding, of course. The Steam store was always brimming with low-quality troglodyte sludge-man games like Block and Sword, Fight, Craft, Survive. But something else was cooking in the game design kitchen, and it was smelling pretty good. Smelling like something was about to change the video game industry well, forever. See, around the same time that Fortnite was being developed, a modder, Mr. PlayerUnknown, was whipping up a mod for a mod of a military simulator that had people talking. This mod was known as Arma 2 DayZ Battle Royale mod, based on a cult classic movie based on a book about a bunch of teenagers being dropped into an arena to fight to the death until only one emerges victorious. No, not that one, the Japanese one. After having a few mods under his belt and working on the now defunct H1Z1, PlayerUnknown would announce his standalone game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG for short. This would mark the real corporate race of the Battle Royale genre. With its release in 2017, PUBG would be a massive success, and for good reason. For the people who played those mods before, this was a more refined gameplay loop. For new players, it was a fresh and novel experience. The Battle Royale genre took some of the best moments of survival games like DayZ and condensed them into smaller play sessions while lopping off the fad of, well, being a survival game. Players don't want to do all that boring stuff like eat and drink and prevent their piss meters from getting too high. Oh shit, I forgot to pee! PUBG was all PvP all the time. It was genius. Too genius that it would be foolish not to copy, which is exactly what Epic Games had in mind as they were about to release Fortnite. What if we release our own Battle Royale, make it free, and use it to bring players to our Save the World paid experience? And it worked. Sort of. Just 2 weeks after the relatively quiet release of Fortnite Save the World, they released Fortnite Battle Royale, which was an instant success. Now, as we all know, Fortnite Battle Royale would become synonymous with Fortnite. Save the World was like the little tumor brother hanging off Battle Royale's back. It was supported to some degree for most of Fortnite's lifespan, but it became apparent the Battle Royale side of Fortnite was Epic's ticket to success, not just a funny side mode to bring people to their paid experience. Now this is Epic's first decision in what I call the 3 big shifts. Yeah, we've reached my thesis, baby. Usually that shit's at the beginning, but Epic has kept Fortnite relevant by pivoting their focus on the game many small times, but more generally 3 large times. But what are those other shifts, you may ask? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? You'll just have to keep watching. Now, it would be a while before Epic would admit they were leaving all Save the World behind, but all that work they had done on the game thankfully wasn't for nothing, because it gave years and years of assets and mechanics for them to utilize for Battle Royale. The biggest of these was the building system we saw earlier. Building itself has an incredibly interesting history in Fortnite, and if you want the whole rundown, I'd highly recommend this video I found while doing research. I learned a lot of interesting stuff from it, but I will try to condense the important and relevant things here. Building started off being seen as sort of a gimmick in Fortnite Battle Royale. In the first season, players really didn't build much, but as time would go on, building would prove itself to be an incredibly strong mechanic. It took a while for players to catch on, but they eventually would, and the pros would lead the charge. The evolution of players building in Fortnite would get more and more complex with each season. First it was wall drops, then ramping, reinforced ramping, double ramping, the sky was the limit, literally. A few tweaks by Epic in later seasons would turn building to an even more powerful tool. Turbo building allowed for much faster building placement. The addition of the playground to practice also led to a massive boom in building capabilities in players. Building went from this to this. No longer was building this small side mechanic in Fortnite that most players ignored. It was the mechanic you needed to know to win. Every season of Fortnite would lead to pros developing some new strategy to stay competitive, which would then trickle down to the rest of the player base who would then emulate it. This eventually led to things like this, and boxing players in, and players, quote, mastering piece manipulation, where some guy would predict exactly where you were going and build around you. This was an issue for Fortnite. New players or casuals couldn't really have fun in these new metas. The skill ceiling was incredibly high. Sure, if you could aim, you might get a kill or two, but if you hadn't mastered these rather complex building strategies, you were gonna have a bad time. So Epic tried fixing the issue. Their idea was to bolster the mechanical counters to building. First it was explosives, then better explosives, then vehicles with guns, mechs. Pretty much everything short of a goddamn nuclear bomb was added to Fortnite to try to level the playing field. But as anyone who actually played during these seasons knows, there was another skill issue that emerged with these items, what I call the loot gap widened. Let me explain. In early Fortnite, the biggest loot gap between two players could be a common pistol and a legendary rocket launcher. The player with the common pistol had a chance, may it be slim, of winning this fight, but he still could. Both players have the same amount of base health, both had to loot for shields, ammo, and resources. But now what if the player with the common pistol is going up against a player who, instead of a rocket launcher, has a rocket launcher with unlimited ammo and 10 times the health? That's pretty much the reality for a player facing down a tank or a mech. These tank and mech metas were pretty brutal, and to be fair, they did help destroy buildings, but they shifted the meta to who can find this insanely powerful vehicle, which in turn did lower the skill ceiling for casuals, but made games feel much more like a roll of the die. Overpowered items weren't the fix for building. Epic needed to take a different approach, so they removed building. This is big shift number 2, the removal of building. Fortnite tested the waters with removing building in Chapter 3 Season 2. What started off as a timid test became a massive success. Players who hadn't touched Fortnite for years returned to see what the game was like without building. Hell, I returned to Fortnite to see what it was like without building. Because building changes the flow of combat, Epic had to find ways to up survivability for players. One method here was that they added an extra 50 HP overshield that would recharge Halo style. They also introduced a new movement system that allowed you to clamber, slide, sprint, all with the brand new stamina bar. It felt pretty good. That skill ceiling that had been shot in the stratosphere was being brought back down to earth, and new players could finally play Fortnite without having what felt like an omniscient demon torturing them with its unholy powers of carpentry and construction. It was great. This also allowed the design philosophy to walk away from developing these insanely overpowered vehicles and items to counter building.
This game is so trash. This guy has 1 kill.
Now, as you can imagine, removing a key component of your game that is contingent on its competitive experience is pretty ballsy. There's a chance that you alienate all those die-hard players who have mastered the building mechanic and don't want the rug ripped out beneath them. But this concern didn't go unheard. Epic made a debatably even riskier move by splintering their community into a normal and no-build playlist, which for most games already could be a massive mistake even before you take into account both playlists are then breaking down matchmaking into solos, duos, trios, and squads. But recent Fortnite numbers show that both playlists are almost equally populated. It's a win-win. Regular old smooth brains like me can play with my friends without dealing with the pros and sweaties who want to play like this. So where does Fortnite go from here? Well, in the short term, I think we'll see a bigger embrace of their movement systems. The last 2 seasons, we've seen these utility weapons that allow for crazier movement. Maybe too crazy with the shockwave hammer, but the new kinetic blade is flashy and fun and allows for plays that really keep Fortnite fresh. The even newer ODM gears may be overpowered, maybe not, I don't know, but it's super fun and really lets you experience the fantasy of being part of the Scout Regiment from Attack on Titan. Movement is probably the future for Fortnite Battle Royale. More environmental systems that amplify movement like the new grind rails, and perhaps more utility movement weapons. We may even see more player mechanics. Supposedly there's already leaks about a new kick that will let players climb higher buildings. Fortnite Battle Royale, the second shift, has sort of transitioned from a building shooter to a movement shooter, from a new fresh concept back to a classic tried and true genre. But what about after all of this? Where does Fortnite, not just Fortnite Battle Royale, end up? To understand this, we need to realize that Epic Games are really good at one thing: taking what works from their competition. Some might call this stealing, but honestly, it's hard for me to feel like it's wrong for a game to take what works from another game and adapt it to their own. I think it's annoying that Megacorps can copyright the mere idea of a game mechanic, like what the over at Warner Bros. Did with the Nemesis system in Shadows over Mordor, which is an incredible system wasted on such a mid game. But I digress. Most of the mechanics that Fortnite has adopted from other battle royales, I couldn't live without now. The ping system from Apex Legends lets you avoid having to talk with the various infants and orangutans you're matchmade with. It's great. The revive system that they also poached from Apex is fantastic. If your teammate goes down and gets killed before you can get him back up, you can collect his card and take it to one of these buses on the map and bring them back. I can't imagine playing a battle royale in 2023 where if you die in the first 5 minutes, your squad just has to go, "Sorry man, see you in 25 minutes. Then there's the other stuff Epic stole because it was cool, like the Among Us mode or the golden bounty systems from Warzone. Epic is clearly not afraid to take and readapt. But when looking to the future of Fortnite, let's be honest. Battle royales can't last forever. People will eventually get bored, or a more compelling PvP game loop will be created to replace them. It's inevitable. So what then? Well, one of the many borrowed things Epic has implemented was a creative mode similar to Halo Forge. This mode gives Fortnite players the ability to build maps, game modes, and new experiences with assets in the game. It's genius. It's allowed for an entire community to sprout up around it. But Halo's Forge mode is an outdated model from an outdated game, a relic of a past era. There's a much more enticing inspiration for Fortnite to copy: Roblox. Roblox is a massively successful video game, but not really a video game. A massively successful video game platform. See, Roblox is worth $45 billion due to the massive amount of player-created content. That's what Roblox is. People can use Roblox development tools and make 25% on however much money these experiences make from microtransactions. It's honestly genius, but at 25%, perhaps exploitative, depending on who you ask. Recently, a Roblox game blew up the internet on how good it looked. A Call of Duty clone in Roblox that looked nothing like Roblox. This was accomplished by letting players make their own assets and import them to Roblox, essentially allowing someone to make a game that looks like an entirely different game inside your game. It's pretty clever business strategy, so of course, Epic has jumped on board. See, Epic Games are the creator of the Unreal Engine, a prolific engine for developing games that has a sizable list of hits produced with it. So of course, why not let players use some of these tools by integrating it into the Fortnite creative mode? And how about instead of a 25% cut for the creators, we give them a 40% cut? And like Roblox, let them import their own assets. See, Epic has essentially created an incredibly accessible, free game engine for people to build shit in. It's genius, and changes what Fortnite is. This is the third shift. Fortnite goes from being a battle royale to being a platform. It'll probably be called a metaverse because that has a trendy ring to it, but for the future, the sky's truly the limit for Fortnite. They can go wherever the trends in gaming take them, because there will always be player creators guiding their hand. Which, once again, maybe not ethical depending on the payment agreement there, but that's for someone else to make a video about. So that secret, the title, the thesis, the sad excuse of a point I hold up to justify making this 20 to 30 minute video on Fortnite, that secret is adaptation. That's what Epic does right. Savvy adaptation not based on fads, but trends. They take what works and they improve it. For better or for worse, they took the Battle Pass system from Dota 2 and made it into a business standard in the game industry. Which people are pretty split on, but at least it got us out of the era of loot boxes. Epic was also smart enough to not jump on the NFT train when that was relevant. They predicted the possible financial suicide that it could cause, which can't be said about everyone. Epic have steered their game around the pitfalls that the other giants have fallen into time and time again. COD, Halo, Battlefield, the big three when I was growing up have all lost so much cultural relevance. I'm not confident these two will even live to see another day after the hemorrhaging of money that they've had to cause for their respective companies. It wouldn't surprise me if Master Chief is being chained up in Bill Gates' basement, being forced to pay for Halo's sins. Now, I know there's nothing that gamers love more than listening to a cool white guy in his 20s slurp up Epic's. And to break character here, yes, there's been plenty of shitty things that Epic has done. A massive share of them are owned by the famously trustworthy Chinese spy company Tencent, who would never, ever do anything bad or nefarious or nudge the hand of studios to make demented business decisions. But Epic CEO Tim Sweeney does hold the majority share of Epic. Tim created Epic and has been the CEO since its inception. He has seen the trends in gaming since the 90s, and honestly, after listening to his lectures, he seems much less out of touch than your average gaming CEO.
And the core of it is something that every gamer already understands. It's you and your friends getting together online and going around as a group on voice chat, having a fun time, and social entertainment experiences.
That's not to say he's a good guy, but that's not also what this video is about. That's my next video, Tim Sweeney, the reincarnation of Christ. So far, it does seem that Tim really knows what direction to bring his company in, and in turn knows where to take Fortnite to keep it successful. Well, let's be honest here. Tim knows who to hire to keep Fortnite successful. Epic's ability to take what works from their competitors, constantly adapt, and take big risks has paid off massively, and the 3 big shifts have kept Fortnite from going stale and have kept it relevant even after the kid stopped flossing and Ninja quit talking about his braless wife. And yeah, I'll admit it, I still play Fortnite with my friends. I'm out there cracking a slurp with my bros every weekend. And you know what? I'm proud of it. Chug bless Fortnite. Chug bless America. And chug bless you, viewer. Thanks for watching.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.